everyone, Tom here, Battle Rap Resume, back with another episode of ASKBRR. If you're not familiar with the format, essentially you email in questions or tweets or whatever, you want my opinions on battle rap or anything else, and I'll give them back. So yeah, these are always fun to do, pretty free form, pretty interesting structurally. This one was a little bit different to the past three, wherein this one was live. I just went live on the channel, which I do quite often. Make sure you subscribe to the channel to keep up to date with that. Occasionally I do full episodes live, which are always interesting to do. So yeah, we had the live chat there, so I sort of went through questions that people had emailed in prior, and then we just took them on the fly. So that was really fun. A lot of the answers I didn't prepare for, a bit more flustered, maybe to a certain extent. I haven't really listened to this back. But yeah, if you have a question for me, comment below on this video and I'll get to them. That's the best way I normally do it. But also you got battlerapresume@gmail.com and the Twitter @battlerapresume as well. So yeah, just a quick thing. Patreon's there, iTunes there, as it always is. Let's get into these questions. First question comes from Tanya Conaday. She says, thanks for answering my question about ring card girls. Agreed. Does DK still rock with battle rap? Obviously, a lot of these comments are sort of responding to stuff I said before. So yeah, we discussed ring card girls. Thank you, Tanya, for the comment. Does DK still rock with battle rap? I don't think so. Not so much anymore. DK is someone that I should say I've wanted to have on the show forever. Like, I have notes written. I think we were set to record. I think I've said this before, and for whatever reason it couldn't happen. Sometimes these things happen where you want to do episodes. Like Mr. Tongue Twister, I've mentioned before on the show. We did a great episode. I was a fucking idiot and I somehow lost the episode. It happens occasionally. It doesn't happen anymore, but I was completely foolish. It was such a shame. It was such a good episode. I saw him at King of the Ronalds where he bodied Lazy Ass Jack, and we spoke before, and just ruining that the episode was lost because it was a really good episode, as I say. We tried to do a second episode and his audio was just fucked for some reason. He was on a phone that had a garbled head. There was something that just stood in our way, so it was really unfortunate. So he's someone that I really want to get involved with. But DK, again, is just someone that I've wanted to have on the show, and I'm just sort of talking about the show really now. But in terms of who she is as a battler, I think she's not that frequent, really isn't matching those sort of early Mickey Uno villain days, but shout out to DK, she was fantastic, and she still is making music, I believe, and doing freestyles, act on words, and she's still involved in that realm, and yeah, crazy talented. Okay, so first question from the viewers, I should say people listening in the future, we're doing this as like a live stream. When will Marlo and Shuffle be on as a pair? This is Callum. When will Marlo and Shuffle be on as a pair? I know they're busy guys, but has there been any recent talks about it? Not from what I gather, no. I thought about this a lot myself as well, and it doesn't seem to be pointing into any obvious direction of them collabing again. I think they are at Chalked Out tomorrow, which is their St. Patrick's Day event. Looks fantastic, and I think Marlo's recording with Gemini, filming I should say, and Shufflo's doing game shows and interview. It's very cool that they are still performing and they are still around. But in terms of a 2-on-2, I suppose partly it's just who would it be. It's also they're just extending, in so many ways, and they're geniuses. They're I said this the other day to Scissors on the show, incredible breath of fresh air along with Ogmios, just unbelievable battles, battles that have aged so well, battles that are so impressive, the C Major and Cracker, I just had Scissors, I say, and we spoke explicitly about his battle, with Wiz against the two in Brighton, with that synchronized third round, with things you hadn't seen before. I think to an extent, battle rap has very basic roots. It can taper off into kind of a clever way or a goofy, funny way, and they mix the two so well, and they really were the definition of quote unquote smart battling. The blossom of this tree that is, your most probs, your Harry Bakers, your Simon Moles, your, everyone to a certain extent, I suppose, but they really are just the best. So in terms of seeing them as a pair, I really want to see them again. Devon Shaw says, when are you going to be a guest on Ruin Your Day? Yeah, that needs to happen, definitely. Avo obviously has been on the show, episode 100, which was, loved doing that with him. That was a really good episode. And it's funny we mentioned Shuffle T and Marlo just before, because unfortunately You know, they were supposed to be episode 100, but it just couldn't happen for what, you know, scheduling or, you know, whatever, it couldn't come together. So I was a bit like, you may have noticed there's like a delay of episodes in like 98, 99, and I'm like, who am I gonna, you know, so certain people get involved there. But yeah, so I had like the episode 100 slot open, so I was just like, Avo, we were meant to do an episode before, and, you know, it was a great episode. It was an episode that sort of taught me a lot, because, you know, it's huge for the show, but it was also just, you know, something that was quite compact. I felt that we got through a lot of material. It wasn't rushed. It was like an hour or so, if I remember, you know, and it was just, I thought going forward, the show, you may have noticed, the show's a little bit more concise now, but it's lengthy when it needs to be. But yeah, when am I going to be a guest on Ruin Your Day? To answer your question, obviously I want to go and watch. That would be incredible. I think, you know, I think that would be fun. I think if that could happen, that would be really, really cool. But yeah, any sort of collab, like I should say, me and Ruin Your Day have collabed before, not just with the Avo episode. I've had Clayton on the show as well, and, you know, Laugh and Stalk, and, you know, I guess that's sort of tangentially, but I should say explicitly, I've been on the channel, top 10 bunker battles, I think I did quite a while ago, which I just sort of put together, and like I made it, and I was like, I just give this to them. Like I kind of knew Avo would be interested in it. I was just like, you know, and Nathan designed a great thumbnail for it as well, where we incorporated that bunker iconography. And I think, you know, then I was lamenting the demise of the place, and that was so sad, and maybe it had to happen to a certain extent for Ruin Your Day to come about, because Avo seems to be obsessed with these giant cataloguing projects, and I understand where he's coming from, and, you know, I'm a very lesser version of this, but this is it. Certain people get inspired by BattleraP to do this, you know, Minnesota Luke, etc. Next question, John Gibbons. You had Scissors on the show. Does that mean Wizard will be on at some point? Wizard hopefully will be on, as in there's been no word. Like I have tried to get him on. You know, obviously Scissors was a great episode. That is available on the Patreon. I hate to hawk that. Like, be honest with me, like with the Patreon stuff, is it just too much? Is it, you know, because I appreciate it gets mentioned a lot. Yeah, he was on the show, Scissors on the show, and that'll be out soon. I have started staggering the Battlerapresume episodes, I should say. You may have noticed that. That's kind of intentional and kind of just like me working on different things and not, you know, having the time to do loads and loads of episodes anymore. But, you know, still kind of keeping them out pretty regularly, I think you'll agree. And I think that, I don't know, looking back, the last sort of 100 or so episodes are pretty dope, actually. You know, Avo, as I say, Eric Foreman, Shonda Rhimes, Bill Collector, ARP, Sharon. That was a fucking, yeah. It's been a good run. It's been a fun run. And so we're staggering it 2 weeks at a time now, just to let the episodes appreciate a bit more, I think, as well. There's a lot of content on this show. Maybe too much content. Patreon is a good way to support the channel. Appreciate that, man. Grime Rat Critic, yo, man. Always a good support of the show. Thank you so much, bro. Big up, bro. He says, what do you think about events being cancelled? Yeah, it was awful. Yeah, it was very sad to see the whole situation. You know, I don't want to comment too much on that, but obviously it was, you know, a difficult time, a sort of weird time in this world, and unfortunately it spilled over to a certain extent. You know, it had big consequences. So the events got cancelled, and I don't know, man. It was yeah, it was disappointing to see all these battlers, but, you know, it was, who am I to make choices on these decisions? So yeah, it's what happened. Will you get Dunch or Kid Twist on the show? Yeah, Kid Twist was supposed to be on the show so long ago, and unfortunately that didn't happen. And then Dunch, I haven't asked, but Dunch should be a cool episode. How do you feel about Zayn Azrai? Shout out Naz, by the way, who came on just recently for the Smack Volume 2 episode. Really enjoyed that episode. How do you feel about Zayn Azrai dropping the N-bomb multiple times during his BRR? Yeah, that was, I mean, not surprising, because I had interviewed him, as we said before, at 7th birthday. It was 8th birthday, actually. Sorry, 7th birthday when as a fan. 8th birthday, and, you know, Ryan Morgan is still holding that footage hostage for whatever reason. I don't really understand why. Interviewed Zayn there with Danny Jack, and he said a lot of questionable things a lot of the time, and, you know, just that vocabulary was something that had been exhibited before, I suppose. And you'll notice when I have guests on the show, I just sort of try and let them go. Like, the best episodes are the ones where they just sort of talk and I can sort of prod with questions, you know. but mixtures of that is fine as well. But yeah, that was all in all, that was a good episode, I thought, altogether, Naz. I don't know about yourself, but yeah, for all in all, it was confusing. Yeah. Els needs to do an episode. Yeah, Els needs to do an episode. I haven't really pursued Els yet, but whenever I encounter Els, like Mixie, Mickey, Briggsy, you know, he had some he had some stunning shit. Zane, of course, as well. If you could do a 2-on-2, who would you be your partner and who would you face as a team? Ooh, good question, George, man. Good question. Partner. I'd just partner with Soul. Because I think no matter how bad I was, he obviously would win the battle. He would beat anyone twice over. So I could just be an accessory to that, really. Who would I like to face as a team? Difficult, yeah. Very hard for me to pick one, actually, and it'll probably be a loaded choice as well. I can't really think of anyone. Mickey, I suppose, would be interesting. That's actually been offered me, and I was like, I'm not battling anymore. So Mickey and Bobby Rex, let's go. But no, that's never gonna happen. The battle still haunts me, as I always say. Charles Lloyd. When is the next Bar Wars? He then says Barstermind. Yeah, Barstermind. The next one, I'm recording it on Monday. This is live on Friday, but I'm recording it on Monday. And we are basically going to go into a sort of harder edition of the show, pause. And essentially, there's only one person writing Barstermind, as I always fucking say. So if you guys want to write any episodes, or you want to just like contribute questions to me, please do. Like, I would appreciate, like, I'll double check them or whatever, but like, you know, a lot of you guys obviously know battle rap, so it's like, let me know, because it's like the QI elves, you know, are running dry. So I went hot, I went difficult with this episode, and it's going to be with Zach, who's a good friend of mine, always speak to him at events, really cool dude, and Colton Shanks. These are two guys. Colton is also, you know, obviously awesome battler, great guy, knowledgeable as fuck. That's what I love about these guys. They really know their battle rap. They're real die-hard fans, and they're good dudes. So I just thought this would make a fun episode. You may have noticed that the Barstermind episodes, like, they're both fun because it's like, oh, it's a game, whatever. You know, a lot of people are like, oh, it's ripping off the bar exam. Oh, it's like, is it? It's just a trivia game about battle rap. Like, I find it so trivial in of itself that people try and like make a controversy out of that. It's just sad, really. So, you know, I enjoy doing the show, and I know a lot of people do as well. That's enough. Nick says, do you think pay-per-views are too expensive at £20 a pop? Don't you think if they halve the price, they get twice the purchases, zero loss, and reach the wider audience? Yeah, I guess they should be more disposable, almost like movies, I suppose. You know, they can be expensive, but I think they're worth it. And I think we understand how skeletal these scenes are and how much they benefit from these things and how good it feels to buy these things and to support these leagues, you know, to go or to buy merch or anything like that, to contribute to this, you know, mind-blowing art form that, as I've said many times on the show, has given me more entertainment than anyone's favourite football team or music. You know, it's maybe not music, but, you know, it's up there. You know, it's something that I do really, really appreciate, obviously. Robert says, Eek interview? Yeah. Funny story about Eek interview. So I said to Pamphlet, who's Eek on Facebook? I can't seem to find him. And I think he said something along the lines of like, oh, it's Francis Fleetwood or something like that. So I found him on Facebook, and usefully, he has mutual friends with battlers. So it's like, okay, so this must be the guy. It all checks out, Bowski, yeah. So I add him and message him, and he's like, oh, I'm not Eek. He is coincidentally a fan of battlerapresume, but he wasn't Eek, so I haven't found Eek yet. What do I think, Grime Rat Critic says, of Dialect possibly starting a Grime on Beat League, seeing posts about it on the UK Battle Rap group? Yeah, that it's necessary, definitely. You know, words are weapons, always praise, always have respect for, you know, and I think that sort of thing just needs to be researched. I was keeping it 140 as well, I should mention. And Duppy and Leave, you know, there is this legacy here, of course, jump off, whatever. But, you know, an on-beat league is what we need. Bryn Saunders, shout out Bryn, Any throwaway bars for Briggsy? Ah, man, not really. I don't think there was much that I didn't actually get to in the battle. But, yeah, let's not talk about that. Yeah. Calcium Kid interview, please, says Flux Productions. Yeah, Calcium Kid interview is happening actually this Tuesday, hopefully. Long overdue. We've been meaning to do it for a long time. People have been asking for it for even longer. But yeah, we're going to record it this Tuesday, hopefully. Any plans of a UK version of Watch? Charles Lloyd. Yeah, obviously I've thought about doing that. I think it has been done by Sam Strickland and Bobby Rex and Brother XAR. It's Something to Watch, was it called? They attempted a sort of version of it, and you know, I said in the Bagnall Archaic episode, the goggle boxification of battle rap, and you know, it's cool. It's just in line with modern trends, with commentary, you know, with the little box in the bottom. So you know, it's fine to see, but I would love to do it. I don't really have the facilities to do it, and you know, some more of a drop-in sort of regular thing I don't think really exists over here. Maybe I can cultivate that myself, but have you seen O'Shea versus the Saurus yet? No, I haven't, Shawnee Mac. I actually haven't seen that yet, but I've heard really good things. Naz, I see you posted the question again. You should do an episode on the mise en scène of battle rap with Avo or Liam. Yeah, that's a good shout, actually. Maybe get them both on, and I'll just sort of have some brash phrases in between. But yeah, that's a good shout, man. That'd be a fun episode. Flux Productions, how's the beef with Mickey? There isn't a beef, actually. He actually invited me onto Pro Hater, which is a wonderful honour, and we are going to do it soon. So, you know, I'll announce it here, but it's going to be fun. So, no beef with Mickey at all. No beef with anyone. Nothing. Battle Rap Resume, too much beef. Shawnee says, cop the pay-per-view, fire card. Yeah. George says, do you think battles involving a more bar-heavy battler versus a jokes-heavy one are ever too much of a clash? If they could work, you could recommend one you think did work. Yeah, you don't really see that pairing, which is why I want to see O'Shea versus Soul on Premier Battles. But there must be sort of examples of this, but I can't. Nothing springs to mind. Let us know in the comments. Okay, Dom Valer says, what's your favourite URL battle? JC versus Chiller is my favourite URL battle. It's probably not my favourite battle anymore, but it's definitely one of my favourite battles. It's a battle that I love. It's a battle that I just can return to endlessly, that I just have more appreciation for. Like, I just knew JC off this battle, really, and his you know, Phoenix-like revival recently at events. Okay, it hasn't been, you know, so upward, but it's been impressive as fuck. So yeah, love that battle. Flux Productions, why Battle Rap Resume and not Battle Rap Circulum Vitae? Resume is an American word, I do appreciate that, and it reads as resume, but the name is stuck, unfortunately, so it's Battle Rap Resume. Bars over jokes or jokes over bars? Bars over jokes, actually. I find battling funny, but like, there are other things I do find funnier. Like, I prefer the bar element of battling. Obviously, they can work well together, but like, what I'm here for, personally, is originality and writing, and you know, I think you get that more through bars and jokes. Gabriel Halford, 3 battles you want to see on King of the UK. I think Shocks versus Big K would be really interesting. Oh man, maybe I'd like to see Ellipsis versus Frankie. I think would be interesting. Gotta have Gem in there. Do I think that Tony is fully retired now, or will he come back and try to redeem himself after Soul? Battlers never retire. You know, Arsenal hasn't adhered to that, you know, world. But yeah, I think, you know, all in all, they will play out as they do, but Tony will come back in some capacity. Have you hit up about doing another interview? We need to hear his side of the story. Yeah, that is going to happen. We have been in contact. You know, you've seen the tweets, and it's we are going to do the episode hopefully soon. You know, I'm ready whenever, and I think it's a necessary episode. Initially, I didn't want to do it. I was just like, oh, it's just dredging up more shit. But it just, you know, I guess it needs to happen. I don't know. But Callum says Soul versus Ilmac. Soul versus yeah, that would be good. An interview is needed for the culture, yeah. Which battler do you think has improved the most over the last few years? It's a really good question, actually. Quill, maybe? I think Quill. I want to say Gem as well, but I think Gem has always been at that level. I'm trying to think of someone who's a few years ago maybe wouldn't have considered them as highly. What do you think is Tony D's best overall performance? I'm torn between the battle with Shotty or Yunnan. Difficult. I think on the Shotty battle, Tony peaks. I think his third is his best round. I think he's building towards that. But on his Yunnan battle, it's just a masterclass throughout. You know, he really invokes his history in that battle. And I love the sweater that he's wearing as well. And that 6.5 grungy birthday crowd in Leeds that I think is excellent. So yeah, probably Tony D. UK versus US smack card. 5 battles you would like to see. Holy shit. Oh my god. Chess versus Gemini. I've always said Chess versus Gemini. B Magic versus Tony. Maybe Joe versus Shocks. You gotta have Bowski in there. Bowski in there somewhere. Quill hasn't improved that much. Is he that much better than he was versus Soul? Yeah. Soul versus Holododon, yeah. Quill versus Shocks would be Haymaker Heaven, yeah. Okay, so in the questions that we got on the old episode, Gasmatic says, any chance you can interview her again? So yeah, we've sort of answered that. Docs Evil says, shout out to you, man. You're like Minnesota Luke, angry fan and champion rolled into one. It's very, very kind of you. Thanks for asking my question about racism in battle rap. Yeah, I don't think there is much racism in battle rap. ASKBRR, mate. What do you think of outside people setting up events or leagues instead of putting money behind existing leagues? Similar to Alki David, Aoife, Total Slaughter. You said in this episode if you had the money to set up an event, is this because you'd want control over the content, or would you do it more like Nakia with King of the Dart? Ooh, good question. I think I'd be more like Nakia in the sort of tastemaker sense. I'm not as interested in the sort of, I'll just know who to hire, I suppose, in some horrible fat cat sort of way. But it would just be the matchups for me. What do I think of the sort of influence there? I think it always seems to go wrong. It really seems to either deliver just, down in dumps, really, in terms of those stakes of excitement and quality. Like Hollow versus Joe Budden is trash. Like the Arsenal Moog remake, really not good, really not good. And even like the Aoife battles, like they're just shot really terribly, and the mics are awful, and the matchups are crazy. So yeah, again, I'm fascinated by it. I'm fascinated the worlds colliding. I think things always do happen, but I think even with Bodied, where's Bodied? When's Bodied coming out, by the way? I can't seem to find a date. Maybe I'm being ignorant there, but I know it's coming to YouTube soon. But yeah, battle rap is battle rap, and it just continues, seemingly, especially in the UK scene, in spite of everything falling down. So yeah, not a huge fan of them, but I understand why they have to exist. Favourite Premier battles released so far? There's been some really good battles released, actually. I think the event was fantastic. Shout out to the whole network as well. That's been really, really cool to see. The first release that we saw, the O'Shea favourite 3-0 body to watch. Shuffle versus Anton Murphy. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a really good one. That was a gruesome body. Yeah, and Anton really just ruined it for himself. Don Valère. Do you know any Dutch battlers? Would you like to ever have one on the show just to talk about battling in a different language? Guess that would be interesting. Yeah, that would be interesting. Don, forgive me, is your name sort of symbolic of your affiliation there? Because, yeah, that would be cool. That would be cool. Do I know what happens to Words of Weapons? No, not really. I think Chronicle happened. I think there was like a revolt on statuses or something. I don't really know. I actually went to a few Words of Weapons events. I should do an episode, actually, just my recollections of the day, because I've got a few sort of funny memories. And, I went to 2, I guess. I went to one they were both in Manchester. One was in Sound Control, I think, in the Northern Quarter, which people will know as sort of underneath a studio, sort of like a sound booth room. That was the first one where FOS battled Future and Raptor versus Jackass, and there was the Royal Rumble and, that sort of stuff. So, yeah, I know Chronicle from there, and I think I always knew Chronicle as quite a good guy in person and online, but, seemingly had this side to him. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe he didn't. Grime Rap Critic says, would you like to see collaborations between battle leagues and other media channels? Yeah, of course, man. It's very cool to see in the UK scene that there are, like myself and Sarcasm City and, Crooks and Clashes, and a lot, it's healthy, it's cool. There's a lot of podcasts around, so any of those that merge with the leagues or work with the leagues is very, very cool. Charles Lloyd, who do you think should have got Battler of the Year? Who do I think should have got Battler of the Year? Soul maybe, but again, it's just in terms of achievement, Tay-Rock arguably. But soul to me, just on the quality. Nicest guy in battle rap. Can imagine Shocks as a top guy. Yeah, he is a top guy. He is a great guy. Everyone's nice. Everyone's nice. Throwing Thing says, which of the new UK leagues is doing the best, will do the best? It's hard to say, really. You know, I think it's undeniably Chalked Out have made, you know, incredible strides early on, and shout out to them as a league. But yeah, I don't think that I don't think any of them are trailing behind. I think Premier Battles have had a supreme launch, and Code Red as well. So yeah, a few of them have had a few downturns as well, but that's what happens. And you know, the upswings have been ginormous. So hard to decide. Gabriel Halford just Rob Wilson is Battle of the Year. He says it's crunch time, pussy. Flux, the Rob Wilson interview. Yeah, the Rob Wilson episode was a good episode, man. Shout out to Rob for coming on the show. Enjoyed that. To do a catch up, but he hasn't really done any battles. I think he's maybe done one or two since then. Would I like to see more industry rappers in battle rap? No, don't really care, to be honest. I know Craig G's happening, but don't really. No, it's just, you know, if it happens, it happens. Favourite upset? There's a lot of upsets. I'm recently upset by Enigma versus Step Easy, which I think is a controversial upset. I mean, Shocks versus Tony recently. I especially like seeing them on Ruin Your Day, you know, flip their shit when they saw it. So yeah, that's definitely one of my favourites. Yeah, I've been watching loads of Bender battles, and yeah, he was always that good. And someone's recently sent me actually a clip of him at sort of a Tom Waits tribute he did that was magnificent as well. You know, he flows so well on paper. You know, the tweets you see, you know, in remembrance, and it is so sad. And there is the memorial, I should say, in the UK, one of many. This is on the 31st of March. Organised by Danny Jack, and you know, please go to support there if possible. What UK battles would you like to see that aren't top tier guys? Ooh, these are really good questions. Actually, these will make some good episodes to mull over properly. That's a good question. Is Lazy a top tier guy? You know, I want to see Lazy get tested. This needs to be someone sort of slightly above him that is still within that realm, but you know, maybe on a Don't Flop platform. Let us know. What's the plan for the channel into the new year? Just more of the same, really. Like, you know, be honest with me, guys. Like, what would you like to change? What do you think would improve the channel? You know, I'm always up to criticism, and you know, we do a lot of content here. There's going to be more Mastermind. You know, as I say, fortnightly episodes. Not as many episodes, perhaps, but you know, still regular ones. So. Yeah, let us know. But yeah, nothing too new with the channel. You may have noticed that I'm the Premier Battles commentator, which is really cool. Shout out to Briggsy and Shotty for getting me on board. You know, crazy to be involved, really. And I'm going to the first event very soon, April 14th, I believe that is. But yeah, so that's just the plan for the channel, really. Just continue with the channel. I do another podcast regularly. Metallica podcast, and I also do a podcast with Definition about Watchmen and Alan Moore and just comic books, and you know, shout out that podcast, really enjoyed that. We recently interviewed the colorist of Watchmen, John Higgins, who was one of the 3 people along with Alan Moore and Dave Gibbons who, you know, worked and created on this masterpiece that we dedicate the podcast to, and it's one of Time's 100 best novels, and it's just, you know, anyone who's read Watchmen knows that it is just, you know, I find it so refreshing to read, you know. But check us out on there. We'll talk about battle rap more in here. Some more compilations like intense moments in Don't Flop and best tryouts. Okay, those could be interesting episode ideas. Definitely. Yeah, Flux Productions, appreciate you, man. You've been giving some good comments. Who would be a great opponent for Jay Dillon? He might be the top 5 UK battlers for me. Ooh, who would be a great... Ogmios, maybe? That could be quite a cool matchup on a Code Red or something like that. I think, you know, that would be one I definitely want to see. Tay-Rock and Sue Surf in a UK 2-on-2 with Rivers and Fura. Thoughts? Bloodbath? But yeah, Ogmios, yeah. Ogmios versus Jay Dillon. Miss that guy. Yeah, I miss Ogmios as well. But yeah, I'm going to end the stream pretty much here, guys. But it's been really good talking to you all. Really appreciate it. And there you go. Thank you so much for listening. Really appreciate it. Again, comment below. Let me know what you've got on your mind, battle rap-wise or otherwise, and I will get to that in the future. I love you all. I appreciate you all listening to this show. Patreon's there. battlerapresume@gmail.com. AskBRR 5 will be out, I don't know, 5-6 weeks or so. These aren't that regular, but yeah, this has been Tom. Cheers again. Bye.